Hello guitar enthusiasts, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be diving deep into the world of guitar intonation. Now, do you wonder why some of your notes sound off even though your guitar is in perfect tune? Hang around with us and we'll explain why and how you can rectify this issue. On the bench today here we have a beautiful example of a Stratocaster in seafoam green with a roasted maple neck. This one comes complete with Wilkinson hardware and an easy setup with these particular parts. Intonation. Why is intonation important? Intonation is important because it is going to ensure that your guitar is in perfect tune and in perfect pitch all the way across the fretboard from the nut all the way down to your bridge. First and foremost, we're going to make sure that your guitar is perfectly in tune. We're going to be tuning this to E standard. To help us along with this, we have our Peterson Strobo Stomp HD on the table there. It is going to make your life easier. Now, one thing to note to make your life easier in this sense, as you can see, we have it in D. We're going to tune it up into our E. All right, now we get it nicely tuned to E. We're going to come at the 12th fret. And it's important, there's three ways we're going to do this. You're going to have the open note E. You have to match that up with the harmonic E as well as the fretted E at the 12th fret. Harmonic-wise as well as the 12th fret. Now we have it in perfect pitch of an E of the open A. We're going to come in with the harmonic and the fretted. Now we can see this is a little bit flat. So in the case of when it's flat, we're going to be pushing the strings this way. We're going to be shortening the scale length. If it is sharp, we're going to be making the scale length longer. We're going to be pulling the bass back the way. One of the tools we're going to be using for this today is our Hosco number 2 Phillips head screwdriver. This coincides nicely with the threads on the saddle screws on the back intonation-wise. Again, we are a little bit on the flat side. I'm going to double check to make sure we are in tune open-wise. When you're happy with that, as you can see there, we have a nice tuned E. So, come at the 12th fret, and we are sharp. So sharp, we're going to be making that scale length longer. We're going to be tightening this in this case. So you're going to be making that turn clockwise, and your intonation screws here. Now this is going to offset things. You're going to have to retension your string after the fact. Bring it back to the E. There we are there. Now come back to the 12th fret. Remember, we're still a little bit sharp, so we're going to be tightening that up a little bit longer, making that scale length slightly longer to accommodate that pitch. Excellent. Now, one important thing to note when it comes to an intonation, intonation means that if you have an open E halfway through the scale length, in this case we have a 25.5-inch scale length with Fender style guitars. So at the 12th fret is the exact halfway mark for that. So you want to have the same note coming out of the 12th fret as you do as your open E. That is essentially what intonation means, having a perfect pitch from the start to middle to your finish. We're not going to take up too much of your time in regard to that, but you get the general idea. If you're flat, you're going to be going towards the nut of the guitar. If you're sharp, you're going to be going towards the butt end of the guitar. Once you have that perfect middle ground, you're going to have your wheel not spinning in the case of a strobe, or you're going to have that nice green screen on your other tuner to know that you're in the right location for it. And you're going to be ready to play. All right, so now we got our low E in tune. Let's go for the next one. We're going to move down the way. We're going to move now onto our A string. Bring it up to pitch. Get that nice clear open A, which there we have it there. Nice and moved, not moving. We're going to come again up to our 12th fret. And that's pretty close. Now see how that wheel is spinning, but it's not spinning quickly? That means it doesn't have to go that far. So you're only going to make a quarter turn to a 3/8 of a turn at a time. You don't want to go too far because this is also going to throw off the tension of the string, which can affect your neck as well. Within reason, in this case, we do have to pull it back. We are sharp. So we're going to be pulling it towards the butt end of the guitar, as we talked about before. There we are. That one didn't take as long now, did it? Obviously, the longer you do this, the more practice you have, the faster you're going to get, the more efficient you're going to become with it. Now let's do D. All right, now we got it tuned up nicely in the open. We're going to come back and check that 12th fret harmonic. Now we're very, very close here, but it is slightly flat, so we're going to be moving it this way. All right, so in this case, counterclockwise turn, just a little bit. I bet you that did it. Excellent. Now we have an intonated D string. All right. Now, again, you're just going to work your way down the strings, doing the same process, string to string, until you have a fully intonated and fully tuned guitar to a proper pitch. In this case, E standard 440, your old classic. Countless good songs have been written in this tuning. Now, as you can see, it's still a little out of tune. So let's do the rest of them. That way we are in perfect pitch and we can be happy enough to go and plug this into an amp and start riffing away. Now that's the sound you want to hear. You know what that sound is? That's a perfectly tuned guitar that's intonated. In the case of this is a Stratocaster, but this same rule applies for Telecasters as well as any other guitar on the market. Now the Floyd Rose is a little bit trickier. It does require a special tool to do so efficiently, but the general rule applies that if it is flat, you're going to be pulling it towards the nut. If it's sharp, you're going to be pulling it towards the back end of the guitar. And intense, you're going to have a perfectly in tune guitar. We appreciate you spending some time with us today in the back of the shop, and stay tuned for more as we go over tool tips, setup tips, our general kits, tools, and more here at Solo Guitars.